Whoa there, Newbeck. What do you think you're doing? You gotta lift with your back.
What? Really?
Ew! You want that paycheck? You lift with your back!
Have you ever heard it said, lift with your legs and not your back? Anybody? Bueller? Anybody? And a lot of people, when they say that, they're good intention, they're well-meaning, because what they're referring to is not to lift with your lower back. But for me, what I want to say is lift with your back, but lift with the right part of your back. Lift with that upper part of your back, because that whole lower part of your back is connected through your core. And what we need is when we lift with our legs and our back together, we have this synergistic. That's a big word. I don't even know if I used it in the right context. But let's just go with it. Let's just say we have this synergistic effect in our body. And as we've talked about so many times, but it's still worth repeating, is that your lat on the one side, your upper back muscle over here, is connected to your glute on the other side. So we have these cross patterns, these slings, these kinetic chains that keep us safe. When I go to bend over and pick something up, I need to experience that hip hinge, and that's where a lot of people falter, as they usually default into a squat. And that right there is why the back gets injured when you lift something up. Because the thing is, some people have this great mobility, and then when they go to hip hinge, they're in a good hip hinge, yes, but their shoulders sometimes become level with their hips, or it dips down a little bit below the hips. And that becomes a little bit of a problem there. Why? Because I'm at a biomechanical disadvantage. Wow, another big word. I'm just on a roll here today. Biomechanical disadvantage. So if you look at it in physics, and I can tell you what, I've never taken a physics course in my life, but the angle of your hips there, and if you're going to go lift something up, the first thing that's going to happen is your low back's going to start doing some stuff, and that's going to become funky. And we don't want funky. We want hip hinge awesomeness. Shins are vertical, shoulders are a little bit higher than the hips, and that back is tight. Okay, that's the thing, is we want to make sure that we're pulling those shoulders back. And so a lot of people, they like to do the deadlifts. That's what they say. They say it's a very functional exercise. And the thing is, kind of. It's a hip hinge, but it's an entry-level hip hinge, and that's a great place to teach the hip hinge. And what we like to use is we like to use that ultimate sandbag for our deadlifts. Why? Teaching tool. So when you grab onto a barbell, usually, most likely, is that you grab on and your palms are facing you, in what we call a pronated grip. Well, that puts my shoulders at a disadvantage already because I got a little shrug. So if I use my ultimate sandbag, we've got these beautiful neutral grips. So when I grab on tight now, I can get that lat integration. Remember we talked about those lats connected through your glutes, core synergy. So we want to make sure that we explore that hip hinge, that we become versed in that hip hinge, and not just in the sagittal plane movement where we're going up and down. That's not going to give us a lot of carryover. We need to be moving in all three planes of motion. We need to be resisting these planes of motion. So stepping to the side, stepping forward, stepping back, using the weight in our hands, putting the weight up on our body. So many different ways that we can challenge that core. And so once again, when you get into that hip hinge, shins vertical, shoulders higher than those hips, you're going to be stopless, unstoppable. You're going to be unstoppable. And you're not going to be afraid to pick up anything off the ground anymore. You know why? Because you're strong, you're confident, and gosh darn it, people like you. You're welcome.